What is up, guys, and welcome to the VisualWood podcast, episode 11. I never say the episode.
What?
Ever.
No, what? It's episode 11?
Yeah, it's episode 11.
No way have we been doing this for 11 weeks.
Well, it's technically 12 because I missed a week because I went to PAX.
Oh my god, this is episode 11. What the hell? It's funny how that happens, isn't it?
Yeah. How many people have been watching us since then?
Jeez. Oh my god, dude. 11. Wow. So, like last episode, because this is how short the weeks feel to me. Last episode where I was like, oh, this is something we should only talk about when we're super successful. I was like, in my mind's eye, we were like on episode 4 or something. But it turned out to be episode 10, and now we're on episode 11. That's crazy.
Yeah, man. We're moving up on the episodes at least. Well, a lot of people ask about the, getting this on SoundCloud or iTunes and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I want to do that. But the real issue is that it costs money to do this, and I don't have money to put it up there. That's the real reason, really. Once this VisualWood becomes like a bigger thing, then yeah, why not put it on iTunes? But yeah, that's another thing that's just like, oh, when this is actually very popular, then,
My recommendation to people as well, if you really want it, I appreciate a lot of people say, oh, it's because I listen to it in the car and it just destroys my phone's battery, blah, blah, blah. What you can actually do is, if you're using something like Firefox, just at your regular desktop PC, get an add-on, it works for Chrome too, get an add-on that allows you to download YouTube videos, download the podcast, and then just convert it to MP3 or an audio-only format. And there you go. You've got what you want straight away. It's really not much effort at all to do something like that.
Yeah.
And that's it's something that you can do that would definitely help a lot. And then you could put it on your iPod. Like if I was in your situation listening to this, that's exactly how I would get it on audio only. Even though like it's not, because you put one up on SoundCloud or something, didn't you?
Yeah, to test it out, because that's how much you get for being a free member. And then you have
one podcast.
Yeah, podcast. Yeah. With a podcast thing like that, that's a special thing. When I was looking at it, I was like, man, all this RSS feed and all this type of crap. But I mean, the easiest way is just go to like one of those sites or get a plugin. Like for me, I have a Chrome plugin that you can just download straight to MP3. And just slide it right onto your phone. It's like that easy for right now until like, I'm rich and then I can just pay $50 a month for an RSS feed.
There? Is it really $50 a month?
That's how much the other podcasts pay.
Jeez, screwed that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to be paying on a monthly basis. I love you guys, I really do, but I pay a lot of stuff for other YouTube stuff. Yeah. So I don't want to add another monthly bill. I just do not want to do that. Anyways, let's get on with the podcast.
Before we go to Guild Wars 2, how have you been? You have to have some news about your week now. You can't just be like, oh, I'm alright.
I'm straight. I just came back from a 80s and 90s party last night. Last night it was good.
In which you were dressed as, we talked about this just a second ago, you were dressed as Carlton.
Yeah,
was that intentional?
Sort of. A lot of people said, oh, you're Bill Cosby. Not because I have a stomach or anything like that, because it's because the sweater was just so Cosby. Like it was... oh my gosh, I have to show a picture of it. I'm gonna show a picture of it now. I'm gonna remember to put this up.
Oh man, and I don't get to see it until I have to watch the video to see this picture.
It looks so like 80s. Like it's a whole. It's like all these colors in one.
I'm imagining like kind of like a Christmas sweater that your nan would like knit you or something.
Kind of like
Christmas.
that. Yeah, kind of like that. Oh my gosh, what about you?
Myself, well, thank you very much for asking. Myself, I'm actually a little bit ill, so if I keep coughing and sneezing this podcast, Apologies to everyone that's listening. But otherwise, I'm pretty good. I got if anyone's watching this that's like really stoked on some of the LPs I've been on my channel, a little bit of a preview for some of you. I've actually gone back to doing Tomb Raider stuff today. And some people have been really asking me to do that for a long time. It's felt like a bit of a chore for a while, but finally I've gone back to it. So by the time this podcast go up, people might have actually already seen that started to upload, but it might not have either. I might just finish the whole game before uploading it. So I did think I'd mention that's basically what I've been doing all day today. Aside from watching LPs of, did you had an Xbox One?
Yeah, of course.
And did you get it at launch?
Yeah, I think I did. Not like on the first day, but like maybe like a month after. I got an Xbox and a Halo.
Oh, well, Xbox original, I guess we have to call it now. There was a game that released for that. It was a launch title for the Xbox that proclaimed to be this really big, awesome thing, right? And there was a lot of hype around it that I myself, as a young person, was never really, involved in that much. There was a lot of hype about this game called Azuric: Rise of Parathia. It released and it bombed because people were expecting all this grandiose stuff from it, and it got like all these terrible reviews and just was basically panned. The company that made it went bust, and there's never been anything to do with it ever since. However, I thoroughly believe that this is one of the greatest games that ever came out for Xbox, and I, as someone who just played it without buying into all the pre-release hype and stuff, absolutely adored that game. And anyway, this week really? I've been super nostalgic about it. Started watching like LPs of it and stuff. Got really into like watching LPs again, and sort of that's what ended up bringing my decision around to film Tomb Raider. So
yeah, I remember this. I remember this game.
Did you just YouTube it or something? It's such a good game. It's got this awesome system, like Magicka, where you get various elements and you can combine them together to create different types of spells. It's got basically that. As like it's not quite as in depth as the Magicka system, but as you play through the game, you unlock more elements and different levels of power, right? So like you can unlock Earth, and if you cast your like Earth spell, Earth 1, then you'll give yourself like some armor. But then if you like cast Earth 2, it will give you even stronger armor. But if you like combine Earth with Fire, when you get Fire, then you get Fire armor, and you have more defense against certain things. If you combine it with like Air, you can like fly a little bit, and the stronger your air power gets, the further you can fly until you're basically just straight up flying towards the end of the game. And you've got like a weapon that you can imbue with different elements, and all the different enemies have different weaknesses to different things. It's so good. Like,
that reminds me a little bit of Two Worlds 2. You ever played that? A little bit of that?
A little bit, yeah. Like their magic system, like you could combine stuff and go kind of crazy with it. This was a little bit more limited in scope than stuff like that, but it was really well done because it was like this long RPG that you really gradually built up more powers to the different elements that allowed you to get, like, it was basically a fully open world game, but like you couldn't get into one area because there was this like immense file that's blocking your way. And then like 5 hours later into the game, you'd like have your water element, and then you can go over to the wall and put it out because you've learnt water, and now you can go through. And it was like this big open world game with very minimal storytelling on it. Like there were these platforms you could go to that this narrator would speak to you about, like what was generally going on and where you were, but mostly it was just this big atmospheric, I mean the graphics are obviously suffering now, but it was this big atmospheric open world with this beautiful soundtrack that reminds me a lot of what Jeremy Soule does, and it's kind of Star Wars-y too at the same time, where you're just sort of exploring this beautiful landscape, and there's like lava waterfalls clashing with water, like regular waterfalls, like great whirlpools, and just all these incredible massive environments, man.
He looks like Avatar. He looks like
right, but
he looks like he's from the Avatar, dude.
But this is before Avatar, so Avatar looks like, and genuinely, there's like floating islands and stuff in that world too. Like I genuinely was like, oh, this looks a bit like at the time I can remember the name of the game, but like this looks a bit like Azuric. Oh, dude, it's such a good game. And like I've just been watching this guy playing it on YouTube, and it's just phenomenal. And it's one of those like nostalgic things, People probably wouldn't tap into it unless they played it themselves, but holy hot damn, if you did, it's
just like Pokemon. Let's talk about Pokemon for an hour this time.
Someone
not
asked
5 minutes, but an hour, because
Someone
apparently the
that.
first 20 minutes was Pokemon.
Did you see? There was a comment. Someone was like, "We should just have a Pokemon exclusive."
Oh yeah. Let's do it. Let's talk about Pikachu for like 2 hours.
Well, here's one thing I thought was pretty cool about Pokemon Mamoswine.
No. Tower of Nightmares. So that is the new patch. Not much to really talk about other than our speculation videos, I guess. Really, because I don't think there's any more news other than the Tower of Nightmares.
On Facebook yesterday, they put up a poem.
Oh, they did?
I'll have a quick search for that. Yeah, cool little poem, just talking about the patch in some way. Tower of Nightmares.
Oh, also the gargoyles. You want to mention that? I heard something like that on Twitter.
Yeah, I complained about that in a video I did today as well. Oh my god. Okay, hold on.
Just a little snippet of what happened, so people know.
All right. Okay. So listen, guys. Guild Wars 1. There were these. How can I do a snippet? It's just you got to know everything, right? There were these gargoyles in Guild Wars 1. And like a water version of them called Murgoyles disappeared for Guild Wars 2. There was a single NPC in the Black Citadel that talked about how they disappeared and that they mysteriously vanished, and it was like this mystery of the world. I did a video on it that a lot of people quite enjoyed because it is one of those compelling mysteries. However, they randomly appeared at Halloween, so everyone's like, "Oh, okay. Why are they at Halloween? Maybe we'll get the answer this year." And I even said that myself. And then they had a live stream, which, for the record, I've got to say, I thought that was a fantastic live stream. I think John Stummy is an absolute boss. I used to follow everything that guy said before Guild Wars 2 came out, because he was like one of the few people still working on Guild Wars 1. And I thought they had incredible insights about the development of Halloween and so forth. And interestingly enough, it looks like those designers, those people that were writing just quests, they have a really good understanding of the lore. Did you notice that? You watched the live stream, right?
Nah, I totally missed it. I was out in a party.
You were out being Bill Cosby. Damn
yes.
it. Okay, well, they were really good. Like, they understood a lot about the lore. They taught me stuff about the lore that I've forgotten, about Gumdrops the Invisible Pony, and, it made...
Whoa, what?
Yeah, there was a character...
Gumdrops the Invisible Pony.
This is the Mad King's, pet, an invisible pony. And it was this thing, in one of the last Halloween updates for Guild Wars 1. And I'd completely forgotten about that. I've got to be honest, I completely forgot about that. And everybody talks about that.
Not
legendary.
a horse, a pony.
Yeah, but
like My Little Pony.
No, what's the legendary in Guild Wars 2 that shoots ponies?
It's the Dreamer.
The Dreamer,
yeah?
Yeah. Everyone's like, "Oh, the Dreamer is so law-breaking," right? It's not. We already knew there were ponies, or at least invisible ponies, in the game. And someone even asked him on the live stream, "Hey, are all ponies invisible or not?" And everyone's like, "Oh, we're not really sure."
That's actually pretty cool if all ponies were invisible and they
right, yeah.
make you catch them and mount them, and you can have a mount. And the silence.
Yeah,
that's half of the people who are listening to this. Like, no, Matt, not another dang mount joke. Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't mind if it was mounted invisible ponies, so you're just floating awkwardly around. Yeah.
I mean, they already have broomsticks, so why not mounts? But anyways, yeah.
So anyway, the live stream was good, but at one point, one of the viewers asked, "Hey, how comes the gargoyles are part of Halloween?" And it would have been okay if the devs turned around and basically said, "Oh, look, well, there's not really a big reason for this. We just thought they were quite fitting, and we know that some people have had theories about it, but, that just wasn't the direction we were going to go in." It would have been annoying to hear that, but it would have been okay. But we didn't get that. Instead, there was 10 seconds, and 10 seconds is a long time if you're in the middle of a conversation, right? 10 seconds of just dumbfounded silence where, the three devs there were like, "Gargoyles? What? Why are we being asked about gargoyles? What even are gargoyles? How comes that's relevant to anything going on with Halloween? Oh, we did put them in Halloween." Just complete shock and misunderstanding of why they're even being asked the question. A complete disregard for any understanding the community whatsoever cared about the gargoyles or why they had appeared in Halloween. And all these ideas that people were having about why the gargoyles had come back and that it could be this mystery just turned out to be nothing at all. And their eventual answer was, yeah, they were just enemies that we added to Halloween.
Oh, you sure they weren't just playing around?
No, I have
to watch it and see their face expression if they're just trolling.
They're just like, what? And there was a lot of really good humor in this, where they were going for proper awkward jokes and just silence and stuff right up my alley. This wasn't that. This was they were asked a question, and after the question came out, they were just like, "Well, I don't. Does anyone else want to step in?" Just sort of looking at each other like they didn't know. They just didn't know. They didn't care. Wow. They didn't think that the gargoyles was.
That must hurt.
that mystery in the grand scope of all mysteries isn't actually a big deal. And they discussed this exact point on that same live stream at a different time. They discussed this idea of mysteries being in the game, and then the community comes up with their own theories, and whether ArenaNet should ever follow those mysteries up, because they said that a lot of time the community comes up with really fascinating and cool stuff that is totally different to what ArenaNet were going to do. And they even said sometimes that just means they don't sort of give a resolution to the mystery. And I think that's a complete shame. I think a lot of the time, if they keep creating mysteries but never conclusions, people are going to stop asking the questions in the first place. I think I was more articulate about what I'm trying to describe in a different video I did today, but that was kind of depressing to me to hear that. Like, for example, in Guild Wars 1, on one of the last Halloweens, they added this weird character, okay, in Drocknar. Do you know Drocknar's Forge?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know Drox. They added a nameless lich to Drocknar's Forge. Just this weird character that was stood there, and I believe even the devs at one point, when players found it and asked what's going on here, the devs even like teased a little bit and said, oh, you will see, this is important for later, or whatever. And then that was just completely abandoned and ignored. Like, it was one of these little mysteries for the game, and then never brought back to. They mentioned this nameless lich in the live stream, and they were using that lich basically as an example for many of the mysteries that are in Guild Wars 2 and don't get resolutions. And their idea was sort of that they feel it's important that the players make their own theories and have their own personal connections. And if you give an answer that doesn't fit with their theory, then that destroys that personal connection the player might have had. But I don't agree with that. I think a lot of the time, players, once they've got a theory, they just want to see the conclusion to see whether they'll be affirmed, whether they're right or wrong. If there's never any conclusion, then they're just not going to care.
I don't like that. I'm pretty sure sometimes that works, but it all depends on how they do it.
In moderation.
Yeah, because like for instance, you ever know those movies where it doesn't end? A perfect example that a lot of people have seen. I don't want to pop up anything obscure, but Inception.
Oh, I knew you were going to say Inception.
When he spins the top, like that is an example of like, okay, yeah, I can feel that I get that, right?
Oh, done well, yes, yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But some movies they do this and they just leave it to your imagination of what will happen. I've seen this anime the other day, 5 centimeters per second. Like, it just like builds up and then just drops, just like nothing. Like, you don't know what happens.
Limp dick.
Just limp. It's like, okay, do they ever meet up? Does anything happen? I mean, that's probably a bad example, but it's kind of like that. It's like, I don't like that.
Yeah, sometimes it'll feel like a cop-out.
Yeah, it just feels like, okay, no, I don't want to use my imagination. Just tell me what happens, please. It feels bad when they cancel a show that you've been wanting to a conclusion with, like Firefly and Alphas and all that. Like, oh my gosh, the cliffhanger for Alphas was just ridiculous.
I mean, sometimes they're strong-armed into it by their network, and it's like, you know, with Firefly, oh, we have all of these stories, and now we're suddenly rushed to find a conclusion, and sometimes the best way is just to leave it up to the viewer's interpretation. But other times people feel really annoyed and cheated. Like The Sopranos is a fantastic example of a TV show that was very controversial about the way it ended, because it ended with just a cut to black. But then sometimes that works too. Like, I'm actually in favor of the way they did The Sopranos, because you can do a lot of really cool analysis on that closing scene. Did you know what happened with The Sopranos?
No, I've yet to watch it. Is it a good watch?
I haven't even seen the show. I just know about the ending. This is the thing.
Oh,
but
wow.
There's all these fantastic analysis people can do on the ending of The Sopranos. You know what a POV shot is, yeah? It's a point of view shot that is showing what character's seeing. The final scene of The Sopranos, right? It's got this very particular editing style where we've got a shot of something happens, and then it cuts to a POV shot of one of the characters looking around, right? And then we've got another shot going of just what's happening, and then another POV shot, and then like it keeps doing that. It establishes this pace, right? And it's very subtle, and it's just editing of a TV show that you wouldn't really notice unless you were looking for it. And the show ends with a cut to black, just a sudden cut to black. And if you look at the editing pacing of it, that cut to black is exactly when we should have gone to the POV shot of one of these characters. And there's all these hints in the final scene of how, like, a guy has come into the diner where he's at, and the guy is about to kill him, and you can see like this person moving around in the background, and just as like this guy would raise the gun to shoot him is just as the camera would cut to his point of view, but instead of cutting to his point of view, we cut to black because he's just been shot in the back of the head and he's died and he doesn't see anything. And so The Sopranos ended for the regular viewer as just like a black screen, and everyone's like, oh, what's that? That's rubbish. That was just, how can they end such an epic saga of a TV show like that? But then for people doing analysis, it's like, wow, it died like this because he was shot. And that's not a hard and fast answer to it. There's debate about it and different analysis you can do. But that's what makes that ending like great in some ways to some people and terrible in ways to others. Because other people will be like, oh, it's a cop-out and they never gave us the answers.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely, I think they totally should like bring some of those characters back and actually show what's going on.
Yeah.
Definitely. Can't just have random NPCs that, otherwise shouldn't even be there. Because there's never going to be any story towards them and nothing's going to happen. I love that. I love those pieces of lore where it's just like, oh, that random NPC that you cross every day, not every day, but, that you see.
Significance.
Yeah, it's the same thing as the big wall with the Tengu.
The Tengu, yeah.
Yeah, it's there. And you every time you level up a character, you see that wall and you're like, oh man, I cannot wait, right? That is the most interesting thing to me in Guild Wars 2 is that wall, and I just want to be inside of that wall and see what happens. I want to be in there so bad.
You have to remind me after the I shouldn't say that. Someone sent me a really weird screenshot the other day that I'm pretty sure they weren't supposed to have. But I should talk to you about that after the podcast.
Hey, we'll talk about it.
But yeah, like on the mystery thing, like you can't say ArenaNet are bad all the time because like all these theories about Scarlet. Do you remember the idea of Scarlet and the Great Battle of Divinity's Reach and all that crazy stuff that could have happened with the Aether Blades?
Yeah.
When she wasn't really a character, she was just a mysterious stranger herself. That's an example of ArenaNet setting up a mystery. The community came up with these phenomenal theories about what could happen. They weren't in line with what ArenaNet were going to do. They ultimately were going to disappoint the community, but they did it anyway because that's what you do. You have to still follow through with your conclusion and hopefully just make better stories in future. They didn't at that point decide, oh, we're just going to ignore it forever, right? So you can't say ArenaNet uniformly does it, and I'm not trying to say that, but just the opinions espoused by just these particular developers on the production of Halloween at the very least were in line with that, and it was sort of depressing to hear, especially when you think about what happened with the gargoyle thing that may not have meant anything either.
All right. Yeah. Tower of Nightmares. What do you think about?
I love how probably about 4 minutes into this you said, all right, Tower of Nightmares, and then we started talking about something else. And now that's 24 what happens. Minutes in, and you just said, all right.
All right, let me just start so we can just start with a conversation on the tower. So there's this massive tower that's come in Cassex Hills, right? So we talked a little bit about this last time, but I'm thinking that it's gonna just change Cassex Hills forever, and really I don't want to see like the same skin. Like after, I don't know if the tower is gonna stay there permanently or it's just gonna be an event for 4 weeks or 2 weeks or so. But if this tower goes away, I want to see remnants of this tower. Like I want to still be able to go inside of the water and still see like a broken tower if we destroy it in any way. And I want to see I don't want to see them reskin Cassex Hills back to the normal way. Like nothing ever happened. I want to see a scar that Cassex Hills was affected by the living story. You see what I'm saying? I was there before, this happened to this area and stuff like that. Now I want to see the trees still cut down. I mentioned that I want to see an event that you can plant trees and eventually grow up. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I want to see cool stuff like that. I want to see the events change definitely in the world. But I think it was confirmed that it's an open world. You go inside the tower. And it's open world, and there's going to be events? No?
Not just yet. I was looking for that damn Facebook. How did I get so distracted by that Facebook, looking for that Facebook poem? So yesterday, they posted a poem on Facebook, and Regina, one of the community managers, someone replied to the poem saying, oh, is this open world? Or is this just another instance? We don't want any more instances. And she jokingly said, this is I can confirm that this poem is not instanced, it's an open world poem available to everyone or something. Joking. So actually they haven't confirmed whether it is open world or instanced yet. I think both you and I are in agreement that this would be awesome as an open world thing.
Yeah, it has to be. Why do it in instance? It's such a massive tower. Like if it was just some little scrawny tower, then whatever. It'll be just a little instance. But I'm seriously, everyone going in there together. I wonder how tight it would
floors,
be.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. It has to be big. Because I was talking about the mini dungeons. I'm repeating myself so much from other videos. But like I was talking about the mini dungeons and how like ArenaNet don't really incentivize people en masse to go into those at the moment. Like the other open world mini dungeons. You know, like the one in Diesa Plateau?
Yeah.
That you've been to. Like, can you imagine if 50 people were going through that tiny dungeon with tiny little corridors? It's just not going to work. So the tower will have to be quite big for it to work. But oh my god, it would be so. And do you know what? Here's another thing. It could be an open world dungeon that takes place on lots of like small maps. So like, consider this. The dungeon on the outside looks like it's maybe 15 floors high or something, but on the inside you've actually been teleported like to a totally different map kind of thing. But that map is made up of like 100 floors, and each floor is like connected by a portal that teleports you through. So like while you're on the inside, it's giving you the illusion that you're just climbing a big tower, but really like it's much bigger than it actually perceives to be. Does that make sense? So, like, it's still open world, and you'll still find a random dude and make friends with random people on the 76th floor, but it is, you know, it's lots of small little maps sort of chained together into this huge tower.
It would be like Sword Art Online. Like, Sword Art Online, basically you have to keep climbing the tower over and over again, and until they reach the top. Yeah, and it is... Man, it would be good if they pull this off, open world, everyone going in, and then I guess like a dungeon at the top or an instance place at the top.
Oh my god, yeah, like a real dungeon at the top. Oh, wow,
yeah. That would be great. That would be great, and I would like to see dungeons just do this. It would be so good. It would be so good. I really like this idea. I'm actually really excited for it. Really excited to see what they do, and especially now that we're going to have a new healing skill. I'm assuming that this is only for this, this update, or maybe they're gonna add toxin later on to other stuff as well, because it's really cool. I mean, what it does is it removes from you and your allies. Hold on, let me scroll down a little bit. Poison, torment, confusion, and toxin.
Yeah.
So you can totally like strategize, like, okay, I'm gonna pop my toxin now. Oh, I'm gonna pop my antitoxin spray. I'm not gonna pop my toxin. I'm gonna pop mines now. All right, I'm gonna pop mines now. And like, so everyone has their own like, time limit to popping theirs, and then after a while, everyone's gonna be on cooldown and stuff like that. So there'll be a lot of cool stuff if they use that in the, in the boss battle, which I hope they will have at the top of the tower. I can see that being really good, like a good mechanic.
There was a little bit of worry from people as well that you could only get this skill if you played in like the release window of this patch. That's not true at all. If anyone's worried about that, that's not true. Colin Johansson just basically said it's much easier to get during this release window. And later on you will still be able to get it. It will just be a little bit harder. And owing to that, it makes me think that probably, unless they add toxic or toxins elsewhere, the tower is there to stay. Look at the updates they've done since the Super Adventure Box, since they had reasonable time to react upon the community's outcry for more persistent content, no more temporary content. Look at all those patches. Tequatl, the new path in Twilight Arbor, Halloween obviously is a festival, and then this, like, I think it's going to be permanent, man. I really do.
Wait a minute, is it going to scale? Hold up. I didn't even think about this. This is in Castex Hills.
Yeah, well, what, you think is level 80 content seated within an early level zone?
No, it can't be. It's not.
Well, if it's on a different map, it can.
Right.
All it has to be is a portal at the bottom of the tower.
So you'll get people that are max level to get there, to go there, and, still be around like newbie characters and as well. That's interesting. That's interesting. Because I didn't even think about it until just now. Like a high-level zone inside of a low-level zone to get people to be there. I wonder if there'll be events to, like, open up the tower. Like, to get
that's
the
what I'm curious about, too.
Kind of like a Raw.
Yeah, Yeah, exactly. And along those lines as well, what you were saying earlier about there being like a boss fight at the top that you have to party for. Let's say, because it's open world, we can pretty much surmise that it's going to be, like, at least to some extent, soloable content. And I like the idea of, as you climb through this tower, if there is a boss fight at the top that requires 5 people, as you've climbed, you've met people, you've had conversations, and you've just, like, naturally partied up. And that's sort of... So, like, you don't even need an LFG tool for something like this. And I always thought that was beautiful about Aurora too. The hardest dungeon in the game, you need 5 people to do it. And to open it, in theory, you would have met friends as you push the meta. And it's kind of the same thing here with the tower. I think that would be cool. But I don't know whether there even is a boss at the top. I mean, what do you think is going to be at the top is a portal. We can see that. And that's what makes me think it may have something to do with the Crate Legends. But in terms of gameplay, what's going to be at the top? A chest? Oh, you got a doodoo.
A quaggin. Because the quaggin is the reason why this is happening.
Oh, you got to let it go, man.
No,
just
it
like
is.
Poobadoo was randomly walking around in the footage of the last VisualWood.
Yeah, yes, that's. See, I didn't do that. The footage did that.
And Poobadoo's patrol route goes right through that lake.
I'm telling you, dude, it's the quaggins. Everyone thinks that it's just, it's whatever. They're stupid. They're in a corner. No one cares about the quaggins. Yeah, they talk about swimming and stuff like that. Listen.
Swimming all day long. I don't know how that song goes. I don't know. If I knew more lyrics, I would have kept dancing like a monkey, I promise.
You think that they're hopeless and all that. Yeah, dude. This whole time under your nose, the quaggins. Or it could be a crate. Would you say they could shapeshift? Which is weird to me when I heard that.
Is it? That's crazy, man. Because, like, yeah, Crate would just be constantly shapeshifting in Guild Wars 1. There was a skill in the first game, a mesmer skill, right, that meant if you interrupted a skill that someone else was using, you activated the ability to interrupt the opposing player's action, right? And you stole the skill that you interrupted. Okay, and when that skill was first implemented in that way, when like they patched it to make it do that, for a very brief period of time, players in PvE could use it on mobs. So Crate would use shapeshift to turn from one form to another, and you as a mesmer could steal the shapeshift skill and then like use it yourself, and then you would turn into a crate and it would change all your skill bar and stuff. It was amazing. And like ooze. Wait, are there ooze in Guild Wars 2? Yeah, of course there are. I mean, more
of course, yeah.
In the first game, though, you had really big ooze that used a split ability, and then they split themselves in 2, and then they split themselves in 2, and in 2, and in 2 again, right? So there were tons of them. And again, like, you could use this skill to steal the split skill. And what do you think would happen if a player used the duplicate ability that an ooze would have to split himself in 2?
A clone of himself, I'm guessing?
Well, you'd think that, but instead it just crashed the Guild Wars 1 servers every time someone used the skill. It just broke everything. So they had to patch it pretty quick, yeah. But for a while, you could steal the crate transform. And
the entire server or just the player?
I believe it was because the game was so heavily instanced, it was like the instance that you triggered it within. Worst case scenario, it was like the region, but I'm pretty sure it's just the instance you were in.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, it's pretty cool, man. And like crate transforming, yeah, that was so normal. And then like they just don't do it in Guild Wars 2.
What do you mean that they transform? They transform to other animals? What? Like I'm not gonna expect like Jafar from like Aladdin to be up there like a big old snake or something like that.
Other forms of crate. That's what they would transform into. Like some of them look like big old Drake things, from what I remember. The crate designs in Guild Wars 1, because there were so many things they could transform into, were much more varied. They weren't just the snake-like creatures. Some of them were like quite beastie looking quadrupedal things with wings, right? Like, and that was one of the forms of the crate. And lore says that basically when they go into an enraged frenzy as they are close to death, they transform. But they never do it in Guild Wars 2, and in Guild Wars 1 they sort of just transformed willy-nilly, to be perfectly honest. And functionally in the first game that meant like they changed profession. Like they'd be a monk and then they could turn into an elementalist and then they could turn into a mesmer or whatever.
So we have Jafar, the crate boss.
Jafar is at the top of the tower.
We got Pababu, which is the quaggin. And then we have Scarlet, which is another enemy that we haven't like actually killed or gotten rid of. So,
seriously speaking, do you think Scarlet's involved with this patch?
I think she might.
Yeah,
I think she might, because the invasions are still going on. Like it could be like a distraction. And she's like,
You were
building.
so right as well, by the way. People are ignoring those invasions. I wish ArenaNet would just not be scared to, like, go hardcore with some numbers. If they'd made those invasions only trigger once a week, people would not be ignoring them right now. They'd be freaking out as soon as they see an invasion pop up.
Yeah,
yeah, let's do it.
I really think they should take your idea on just having spawn timers a little bit longer on some things, not all things, because I know that people don't have that, that one day. Like if it's for instance, what if the Tuquato triggers on Wednesday at 9:00, right? I have like a podcast to go, so like that would suck, and I'm pretty sure other people like have work or something like that. So I understand that, but maybe like once a day, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I think Tuquato would be great on. Once a day. Once every other day, worst case scenario, or best, depending on how you see it.
It'll make stuff a little bit more rare. It's a lot of good benefits to it. But of course, the time would have to change maybe or something like that. One time it'll be in the morning, one time it'll be the night maybe, so people can have, different, because a lot of people are in different time zones on the American server, so I can see how that can be an issue.
The other, obviously, the way they tackled this with guild missions is the content is always available, but the rewards are only available once a week. So, in essence, it's the same thing. It's like, oh, okay, you can only do it once a week, but, you're kind of choosing it in that situation when you do it, and you can choose to rerun for people that miss the rewards and stuff. So, maybe they could do that. But that wouldn't help the invasions at all, because you need a lot of people to gather together. So, like, invasions, I think, would be perfect to just have them way rarer. But what is it at the moment? Like 4-5 times a day they spawn? If that, even more, maybe?
Yeah, and I mean, people go. It's not that they don't go. Well, at least on my server, some people go. It's not overflow material or anything like that. Like it's just a handful of commanders go, like 1 or 2, 3, and they spread around. They do it just for the sake of doing it, because it is pretty cool. But really, there's not much people there to actually complete it, so you only get like 3 champion bags, and that's not really worth it for like 30-40 minutes.
Yeah, because it's such a long event too.
Yeah, it's very long. So I mean, it is cool. It's probably one of my favorites of all time. Well, I don't know about all time, but like one of my favorites, and it's kind of there in the background, and I feel like, I know it's hard to implement something into the game and then it just not become so dead, but it happens too often with Guild Wars 2, don't you think? Like they put something into the game and then people just kind of forget about it.
One thing I think universally that could fix all of this is the rewards automatically scale to be better the longer the game the servers have existed without someone completing it. Like, for example, a Scarlet event probably has not been completed on Emery Bay for 3 months. What if every day since the last time it was completed, like an extra 5 silver was added onto the pot of the rewards, and players knew that, right? Or more and more was added, because eventually there's going to be breaking point where one guild's like, hell yeah, I'll put the effort in for that because I'm about to get a 10 gold reward from it. And it's not actually contributing to inflation, because to increase the rewards, it means there's been a huge deficit in the amount of money that content's pumped into the economy in the first place. So like, I cannot see why they don't do that. And the same with dynamic events too. Those rare dynamic events and cool dynamic events all around the world that you just don't get to see because there's no reason to play them. What if they were scaling up in karma and money and gold the longer since they had last been completed, just like with the bonus experience system on mobs? Why don't they do that? Like, any kind of content. Tell me one bit of content that if it had that in it would be dead forever. Nothing would die if they did that. Yeah. People wouldn't zerg away from it because, yeah, they might for a while. Someone's going to realise that there's profit in it again and go back, even if it is only intermittently. I don't understand it. It seems really basic to me, and maybe there's something basic I'm missing in return. But
I'm pretty sure it's that easy just to change the number from like 1 gold to actually like something that's worth even doing.
Well, you'd have to set up an automatic system so that it wasn't this manual thing. And that's going to take time. But, I mean, come on, really? I mean,
it's the rewards, man. It's all about the rewards.
Yeah, and for such a huge game changer. Why not? But yeah.
All right, so the Crate Obelisk Shard is going to be in your home instance, and you'll be able to charge quartz crystals, which is interesting.
Also, I've got that poem if you want to hear it.
Oh, yeah, do it.
Guarded by magic and fed on fear, the Tower of Nightmares will soon be here. Your foes and enemies are becoming fast friends and working together towards terrible ends. So enjoy your Halloween chills and thrills while nightmare is growing in Keswick's Hills.
Dum dum dum.
Yeah, so that's the poem they put up just the other day. Pretty cool. And there's a live stream Tuesday, is it? I think.
Did they also send out watches with this?
No watches,
phone.
sadly. They sent out mini towers. Do you not get one?
What?
Do you not get your mini? I've got a mini tower right here, see?
Lying, you're just patting your desk, you liar.
It's got this little switch on it that lights up the portal at the top. It's amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, dude, that reminds me. Did you see like the music box?
No. What music box?
What is going on with you? Guild Wars 2 music box. So there was a live stream as well recently. You're gonna have to show this, Matt, or at least play the audio. I'll link it to you in Skype. There was a live stream as well from the audio designers recently. Also a pretty cool live stream. They talked a lot about how they have been developing music for this franchise since Jeremy Soule, who is essentially just a contractor, has now left their company, right? Or no, he's not working for them anymore. And it was mentioned, something about a music box was mentioned at some point. But you know the collector's edition of Guild Wars 2?
Yeah.
In the collector's edition, you know how we got Ritlock, who has no pants? Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
At one point, instead of Ritlock, they actually designed, or at least this guy, McLean Deemer, I think that's how you say his name, he designed a music box that played the Guild Wars, like a proper authentic mechanical music box that played, nothing electrical about it, that played the Guild Wars 2 main theme. And it sounds amazing.
Wow.
And there was only one that existed in the world, the prototype that he had developed, and he posted a video online on YouTube showing this thing off. And it's incredible. It's so cool. It sounds really beautiful, really crisp. He's just talking a little bit about the design of the collector's edition in the video. It's only 2 minutes long, well worth a look. And I believe someone even bought it. It's a one-of-a-kind, unique, special thing about the Guild Wars 2 franchise, and someone bought it for like $26 or something.
This is amazing.
It's
Holy
crazy,
crap.
Isn't it?
Oh, dude. I totally would. How much, like, he would make it? Does he?
No, he doesn't like make him for a living. He works at Guild Wars 2. But
yeah,
like,
I know.
before...
I know. I'm saying, when do you make it on his off time? I would totally like contact him and be like, oh, you know, I would totally love to have one of these for myself.
Well, you could try it. You could send him a PM on YouTube. Everybody listening to VisualWood, if you want one, just send him a PM on YouTube. He'll be happy to make one for you.
Oh my gosh,
Only
let's
$5.
not do that. Let's just not do that. Oh gosh, I wonder how many people are actually going to do that. Well, I mean, how many people are watching us right now and 44 minutes in? Ridlock has no pants.
They're probably listening rather than watching.
Yeah.
I see you there, driving in your car. You need to make a left next, don't you? Yeah. But there's a red light. Yeah. Yeah, I'm watching you.
Oh gosh.
That'll get one dude. One poor dude will be like, oh my god, what's going on?
Joey has a camera in your car.
Oh, in your car. Oh, dude, I saw this stupid... Did I tell you about this? Like, there was this stupid, like, big popular, basically gay YouTuber that just, like, is really... Not because he's gay, but he's just really annoying, right? There's this annoying YouTuber. All right, I should probably restart this. But anyway, whatever. He parked in front of someone's driveway. Right, he parked in front of someone's driveway and then made like a vlog being an asshole about it. And the dude whose driveway he parked in front of got him towed and then like put up this video saying, yeah, I got you towed and I don't appreciate you saying blah, 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 blah. Anyway, this guy who towed him got a viral video. But this annoying person is called Joey. It was like the day after I'd like invented this fake name for myself and like even joked in one of my own videos about it. And then I was like, oh man, now you've ruined the name Joey for me.
Don't spread it out to the audience. Now it's ruined. Joey Tribbiani. You know, with the guy who smokes. Mm. Oh yeah. Can you give me a cigarette?
You do a fantastic Estelle, I've got to say.
Yeah, man, that's years and years of smoking. I put on an accent so you can't hear the years and years of smoking that I've been smoking since I was 2, dude.
Since you were 2?
Since I was 2. That's 2 awkward silences that we've had. We have never had an awkward silence before. There we go. Good job.
I was just like looking out my window like, wow, that sounds like child abuse.
It's just reminiscent. How was my childhood? And then you see like woo 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 woo, like just in the old shows. Yeah. And know the swirlies. And like it just spins. And then you're dreaming.
Oh, right, yeah.
And it's like very foggy, just like the old way in the 80s, how they used to do those shows where it's like
foggy
very foggy.
because everyone was smoking.
Nice.
Thank you.
Nice.
I'll be here all week.
For the meta achievement for the Tower of Nightmares, you get the shard inside of your home instance, which is you can earn a skill point, which is weird, and it's a place of power where you can charge the quartz crystals. How good is this really?
I heard from one person who said that they had been collecting their quartz and stuff, that it was quite convenient to have a place of power because they can harvest some quartz and then immediately just transform it right there in the home instance. A minor convenience at best, though.
I'm thinking that there's going to be more stuff that you're going to need a place of power for, and not just the quartz crystals.
Yeah, that's an idea too. I'm also curious, does it just mean like 1 skill point for every character on your account? Is that sort of just how it works?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, what is it? What's the point of that? But I mean,
skill point seems weird.
Sometimes you're missing 1 skill point to get that 25% boost for your whatever, either elementalist, thief,
Wait, what do you mean 25% boost?
Or Necros have it too. Yeah, basically what I do when I get one of those characters, I make sure I get like all the skill points I can in the low level areas and just get my 25% boost so I can run around very fast on the map and complete map completion very fast.
Oh, sorry, you mean to unlock the skill? Oh, right,
yeah, to unlock the skill. I guess that's pretty much it. Questions?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I feel like there's probably more to say on the Tower of Nightmares, but we just know very little at the moment. I'm kind of excited that ArenaNet are going for a totally different type of content, but whether it will be any good or not remains to be seen. But hey, that's good. That's the kind of gusto they need just to try stuff out. Oh, there was that other bit of news as well about the Edge of the Mists invites have been sent out.
Yeah. But it's like only for guilds. I was gonna sign up because you said you were gonna sign up to see if there's any media place that you can put in. But there's only like guild stuff. It's like there's no media input. Like they ask you questions about like a lot of like about your guild and stuff like that. Like 3 questions that have like a big old paragraph text box thing.
Oh, so there's really not any opportunity. But I guess push comes to shove. If we want to get content of it early, we're going to have to try and find someone in such a guild that has got access and say, look, would you mind us joining you to have a look at the new map?
Right.
Just hope that'll work. It'll work out that way. But yeah, so that was something too, guys. So if you did sign up with your guild, do be sure to have a look around because there's every bit of opportunity for you to get in. They'll be sending out more invitations as well as time goes by, but the first wave has been released. You can still sign up though. So, questions. Are you ready for this?
Oh, I'm ready.
Are you ready for this jelly?
No, I'm not ready for that jelly. I can't handle it.
I don't think you're ready for this. Danish Southpaw is certainly ready for the jelly. He says, you have talked about mount, and it shouldn't give you a boost in speed. They already have the broom. I thought this would be cool if they made a hoverboard that Nasurin have made to make money for his bigger project, or another story. And that's why they sell it on the trading post. Have any good ideas as an mount? Like something realistic to the Guild Wars 2 world, Matt and Daniel. I have always seen you as a Daniel, WP. I actually had many Daniels as friends as I was growing up. I will tell you that much. That's pretty crazy.
Oh, and your name is Daniel as well, right?
Oh my god, who's the Daniel? Oh my god, I was just thinking of Lost just a little while ago, and I love the Daniel that's in that show, but I can't remember his second name. It's like named after a scientist guy.
So Daniel's your name, right? So,
yeah, that's better than Joey. Let's go with that.
No, I like Joey.
Okay.
Joey Tribbiani.
Only if you do an Estelle voice every.
I love names like that with the Ani and all that. It's all good.
Okay.
Italian meatballs. Yeah.
What do you think of a hoverboard? What's your opinion on this?
Let's see. Stuff that could be with Guild Wars 2's universe.
Just ideas for mounts.
Dolyaks would be pretty cool. To just like a regular Dolyak, like
invisible ponies.
Invisible. invisible ponies, man. And it has to be like, you could change the colors of the mounts. That would be pretty cool. So you can make the pony like My Little Pony.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my gosh. Like, we're just talking about like how people are just like really against bronies and all that type of stuff. Yeah, but what else? I would love to ride a golem, kind of like the Azuras do. But I guess maybe that could be like an Azura only mount that you can like ride a golem, and the golem can like walk for you and stuff like that.
Going with that theme, the Char have these like very cool concepts, and even there's some models in the Black Citadel of like these awesome little like motorbike style things.
Ooh, wow.
So like steam mecha tech motorbike thing. So like you could do. So we could have golems for
like an Harley, like an Harley.
Sure.
I could totally see a Char and a Harley, dude.
But so we'll go Char with their motorbikes, Asura with their golems. Norn, what would a Norn mount? I mean, Norn are huge as it is.
He will mount the sky. He would mount the world.
The stallion of the world. Wow.
He will straddle it. Just that. All right. Anyways,
it worries me that you're like that. You play a Norn. What if like a Norn were like on the oak hearts or like snow hearts or whatever? Like they just rode around on oak. That would be kind of.
You can ride a Jotun. Like ride
a Jotun. Oh my god, that would just look like an adult Jotun with like a kiddie Jotun on his shoulders.
Oh god,
that'd be so stupid.
That would be great. You could ride a Yeti. Do we have Yetis in Guild Wars 2?
There were Yetis in the first game, I'm pretty sure. There were definitely Yetis in the first game, but they lived in Cantha, so we have seen none in Guild Wars 2.
So humans can have horses? Humans always have horses. Ugh. I don't want a horse mount. Horse mounts are garbage unless they're like black with like fire hair or something like that.
Like Shadowmane from Oblivion.
Yes.
I don't really. I've got to be honest, right? I don't have many ideas for mounts. I don't really care about mounts that much. Not in a game with way. Like I appreciate. You don't care about any.
You don't care about guild halls. You don't care about mounts. You don't care about tool tips. You don't care about anything. Dang it.
Oh my god, I do sound like that, don't I? I do care about some things.
The lore. All he cares about the lore. The game could have no gameplay. just lore.
No, that's a really good. Oh my god, what do I want? What the fuck do I want from updates?
What do you want? Because I want all sorts of airship mounts. I want all sorts of stuff. Any mounts. I want Azuras to have like a shop in Lion's Arch just for mounts. Just open up a shop. I would love to see new shops and new areas in Lion's Arch. Since everyone's being there, why not remake Lion's Arch? Like, spruce it up a bit.
Out as well.
Everything doesn't like stay the same for years. You know what I'm saying? New shops are opened and all sorts of stuff in like places in real life. So why not?
There's actually an area in Lion's Arch, like above the portal inn, like if you get above where the portal is, there's like this whole plateau up there of this Asuran woman that's talking about how she's building a shop there, and it's just been like a construction site ever since. And there's, to the south, near the PvP gates, there's loads of Zaishan that have been there since like the South Sun update and even before. There's loads of Zaishan building stuff and looking like they're making something and working towards something, but again, nothing's changed. Like that's what Living Story would be good for. But I do agree, like the cities, man. That's something I want. I want real reasons to go to all of the cities.
Definitely.
And to spread players out, mini games that we can play in the cities, stuff like that. I want leaderboard stuff, so that people who are going for speed clears and dungeons have real records of it and rewards of it. And I want competitive aspects of the game like that back. I want like a re-leveling system where you get world completion the once, and then you can choose to like down level your guy back to level 1, except he gets like half the, and you can toggle this on and off if you want, but like, and then he gets like half the stat gains or whatever. So it's like you're playing through the game again, like in hard mode or whatever. And if you get world completion a second time, you go from having that regular star to like a gold star or something, or a bronze star.
I'll keep doing that. I'll just keep doing it.
Yeah, man, it'd be so good.
I would love it'd be like Call of Duty Prestige. Yeah, I just ruined it, the whole thing. But like,
I don't care, man. Yeah, like Call of Duty Prestige. I think that's a great system.
I love that system because for people who want to play and want to have that extra like star or whatever. I mean, yes, the reward is not amazing, but it's something that actually does something. Like the titles. Not much actually.
Do you know what? I mean? Like, I never notice stars on players anymore, ever. Like world completion stars, I don't look at my own. I don't look at any. Who cares? But if there were different types of stars and they represented more and more time sunk and more difficult things being done, because I don't care whether an achievement is just difficult to get or a big time sink. Who cares? It's an MMO. It's probably just a time sink. Like. If there were loads of different types of stars, maybe I'd start paying attention to that. Instead of 1 star, you get 2 little stars, and then 3 stars, and then it becomes a different symbol. Whatever. It would be cool, and that's the nice kind of content that keeps people spread out around the game, keeps them a healthy balance of people in early level areas. That's the kind of stuff I want. I want things that really reinvigorate what's currently in the game, but just systems that are put in, and a real expansion. That's what I want. But like mounts and new features like that, I don't know.
You want a HOM. You want a HOM in Guild Wars 2. That would be amazing.
A Hall of Monuments style thing in the personal instance. Yes, definitely. Yeah. Every little title I get, give me some statue that I can represent it in my home instance.
Do you really think that like the home instance needs to it needs to be redone, like totally moved to a different place maybe, or just I don't know.
I think it would have worked better. So as you play through the personal story, loads of NPCs like start popping up there, and you always ignore them because the story very rapidly takes you away from your race's home and out in ore and stuff. And why would you want to go back just to see those subtle changes? I think it would have worked much better if the story like branched. Level 30 moves you into orders and stuff. If the story branched at that point and one half of the personal story was like Traherne and the Pact and all that rigmarole, but you also had loads of like side quests and optional things you could continue to do in your home area that kept progressing, that kept you around your personal instance, your home instance, then maybe the home instance would have worked better because you still would have been doing quests and things that took you back in there and had relevance there. And I think that was a big mistake that ArenaNet made.
But also the home instance are not... It doesn't look good. Like for the Norn, you're on a balcony. Like, what is that? I don't want to be on a balcony. True. Like everyone can see what's going on in your home. It's like, nah. I don't want people in my business seeing all my my trophy nodes and stuff. I have candy corn and all that. People just coming in and eating it. Get away from my damn candy corn.
Would you pay 100 gold to move house?
Yes.
In Guild Wars 2?
Yes.
There you go. See that I don't think that could be problematic to do. Could be, but could also be interesting as a feature. Like, I want to move to Divinity's Reach, so that becomes my home instance. Then there's an option for you. Huge gold sink that people would be happy to pay for.
I would be happy to just have a home instance that's like actually a home.
Where would you move?
I don't know.
And then they could like add. It's not player housing, but then they could add like home instances and loads. They could like add a section of Lion's Arch.
Yeah, they can do all sorts of stuff.
And
they can
have
only
portals.
Access that all sorts of stuff. Yeah. There'll be tons of stuff they can do. They can even charge gems. I would do it. I would buy it.
Oh, we're getting carried away though. It's easy to say what they can do. There's millions of things they can do. It's always at the cost of something else.
Yeah,
they
have to make money. They have to make money. So
yeah, but this home instance thing, I wouldn't favour this over a billion other things they could do. So I'm not bitter that they haven't done it.
I'm sticking my tongue at you right now. Anyways, next question.
All right, well, we were asked about mounts. We started talking about home instances and stuff. I hope that answered your question. Next is... it's Ink the Dick again. Awesome episode.
Say that again?
Ink the Dink.
Okay.
Awesome episode. Worth the wait. 100% made my morning. Thank you very much. How would you guys feel if ArenaNet changed the meta awards from the current backpack or mini or tonic to more of a trophy for, say, your home instance? For example, if you beat the tech meta, you'd get a small or mini version of a tech statue in your home instance.
Interesting. We're just talking about trophies and stuff like that, like a HOM. Yeah, you go ahead if you have.
I think on large the the community would not be receptive to something like this. I think while backpacks, minis and tonics can feel stale after a while, they are still better than just a small statue in an otherwise inconsequential area of the game. I think generally people wouldn't be receptive to this. Hey, add it as an extra, yeah. And if you think about it, what they're doing with the obelisk, they're basically doing the same thing at the same time. They're giving us our cake and we get to eat it too. We're getting small statues and things in our home instance, and we're getting backpacks and minis and tonics and things. On the tonic front, we haven't seen anything like the Watch Night tonic for ages, have we? And that was cool.
Yeah, that was cool. Just the cooldown sucked, but yeah, it was really really cool. I like being able to put on like weird stuff as I fight. You know, like
Yeah.
that's why I hate like the town clothes even existed, was because you can't fight with them. So
Yeah.
I would love to see more tonics and stuff like this, just without the cooldown. I don't want the cooldown. What's the point? I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't think that. I mean, I understand why they put it there because they didn't want armies of them. But months down the line, people get bored of it, and people don't have the opportunity to get it back anyway. So I don't think there should have been a cooldown on it either. I think it would have been much better without it. So for me, it's almost sort of a non-question to me at the moment because we're kind of getting both. So it's not a decision of which or this or that. We just get both.
What would you like to see as a meta reward? I guess that's more of the question.
Well, do you want to answer that? Because I haven't got a clue.
Oh man, skins. A lot of people are like, oh, we're tired of back pieces and stuff like that. Maybe they're gonna start adding some other skins, like kind of maybe like weapon skins, armor skins that are special to the event. Just like a piece of the armor. I mean, it seems like it's just another piece of skin, but I mean, it could be pretty cool. Like for instance, what we had, those are all back skins. If they had like fire gauntlets or something like that, or a chest piece that had like a weird symbol on the back or something glowing, like still cool back pieces and stuff, not back pieces, armor pieces like that would be pretty cool. A cool helmet, for instance, like they had in Dragon Bash. Didn't like the helmet too much. I don't like helmets at all because they take away your hair and your facial hair. So I just but they could add that. But I mean, I feel like it needs to add something that's permanent that you can't just use. Like you can't just get like a consumable or anything like that. So I don't really know what the solution would be to switch it up a bit, but without that wardrobe being put in, because you could get like, if they just started adding like cool skins and stuff, put that wardrobe in.
For me, I quite liked the idea of minis for a long time. I had a complete collection of that special tab of minis, like every single one except the guild golem ones because they just take so many guild missions. But then they released Mr. Sparkles and I couldn't get it, so I just gave up on that collection instantly. I think that was a big mistake for them because they would have got a lot more money out of me as I kept buying those minis. So like minis would have been a great reward for me, but I don't care about that anymore. I'm pretty much
You sound so spiteful.
I know, I hate it. It's really annoying. Now it's sort of game over in that perspective for me now. Like I don't care about those minis, and like I'm pretty much 100% happy with how my character looks. So you're all about the rewards, and that's totally fine. But for me, I just want good stuff to play at the moment because, like, what do I want from those rewards?
Yeah, but it's a reward for playing, so I don't know exactly. Like the rewards in this game is a little bit wonky, so I don't even know what to ask for. It's just like,
yeah, like for me, I want good content, and then I want rewards that keep people going back to it. Do you know what I mean? Like that's where the rewards coming from me. I just want some good content to play through, and then I don't want to come away from it feeling like it's a shame because no one's ever going to be there in a couple of weeks. I want to go away from it feeling like, yeah, there's good money here. There's always incentive to come back here. This is a core part of the Guild Wars 2 experience. This is cool. This has added something to the game, in a permanent way.
Maybe the tower would be that. Hopefully.
And hopefully, yeah. I mean, it could be so different to anything we've seen so far, and I don't want to big it up and get people excited about some dramatic change or some revolutionary type of content, but it could, in theory, an open world large real dungeon, not a mini dungeon, a dungeon. There's open world, and it might be instance. We might be getting carried away here. It might be instance, but if it is something like that, we could be seeing some crazy stuff, even in terms of rewards too, to match the content.
All right,
next question is Cricknav says, silver doubloons and legendary weapons. Do you think that legendary weapons should be equal in their attainment process? Look at Guild Wars 2 Legendary site. The Juggernaut is way more expensive, mainly because silver doubloons are so difficult to come across, especially compared to other niche items used in legendary weapons, such as unidentified boxes of fun. It sounds to me, Cricknav, like you're just upset that you have to get loads of these doubloons. There's always going to be disparity between the weapons because the weapons all look different and people attribute different, what's the word? Some people will want some more than others, just based on personal taste. So, yeah, I mean, they're going to be different prices, and the components for them, the more varied it is, I'm happy with it. Yes, it might be more expensive, but the precursor might be cheaper, and stuff balances itself out. And the more different,
for some of them, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, some are irrefutably more expensive. Eternity's an easy example of that, right? Eternity, that's so difficult. It's 2 legendaries instead of 1. But I like that. I like the quirkiness, and I liked how when I was going for my Meteorologicus, it felt very different to when I was going for my Incinerator, and I embraced that difference.
Well, the thing is, they can't really just change it. I mean, when they put it in, I'm pretty sure like they didn't have like the prices in their head. They didn't expect it to be this much and blah blah blah. And once it's in, it's in. You can't just change that type of stuff.
Because people will complain, "Oh, I did it the hard way, and now you've just made it easier."
Right. Pretty much people made the prices, what content that they play constantly, what drops they get, and the price is set on a trading post. Really, like, I don't see a problem with it yet. Yeah, it sucks. Like, I had to go through charged lodestones, right? And anyone who goes through charged lodestones on a legendary adds an extra, 300 gold? I don't know how much it is now, but it adds.
It was 300 when I did it for Meteorologicus, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, it add like an additional 300 gold. That sucks. It sucks, but the thing is, like, that's just the way it is. Does it drop much? Blah, 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 blah. Like, there's no way to balance it in the first place. Like, prices are going to constantly change. That's just the way it is.
It is weird, though, like, given all that, but it is kind of weird that they made silver doubloons a part of Legendary Weapon Recipe, when, like, the end game equivalent is, like, platinum doubloons or whatever. It's like it's like adding a tier 3 mat instead of a tier 6 mat as a part of the recipe.
Yeah.
Which is weird. So, you can look at that and be like, oh, that's kind of quirky and weird, but whatever. It would have been expensive either way. It probably would have been cheaper if they were platinum, because more platinum drop than silver, just because more players are in those kinds of zones.
Yeah.
But still, it's just a part of the quirkiness, and I might harbour more thoughts on it if I went for a legendary that had that requirement, but I didn't. You ready for the next one?
Yeah.
X-Bane Blade X says, I was just wondering, that thing in front of Matt's mouth, is that a potato or a fried chicken?
So I saw this and I was like, that's clearly a potato. It's clearly a potato. I'm going to take a wild guess that because I'm black, he thinks that I'm eating a piece of chicken. I'm going to go ahead and throw that out there. Wild guess. What do you think?
I think he's just a racist viewer and you should block him. I think that's terrible. What an outrageous thing to say.
No, I thought it was a good joke, so I tossed it in there.
Amazing.
Oh, gosh. Next question.
Okay, question 5. If ArenaNet asked you to create the next dungeon, what would you do? Think about the theme, characters, and puzzles. This was from Pete Harris. Wherever.
Well, I would like to see some black characters in Guild Wars 2, since we're on the subject. Also,
give me how many black characters are there? Fill up your one hand with black characters in Guild Wars 2.
I have no idea. None? Have you seen black? I haven't seen black characters.
Is Miani at the Mystic Forge black?
I guess she's my type of black, like light skin. I guess.
We'll go for that.
But they're not story. This is not story. This is some random walking character. Yes, there's some random walking NPCs that are slightly darker than the rest. It's just like Pokemon. In Pokemon, you get to choose white, or a little bit not white. Like, it's just the same thing. Yeah, and they can also They could go on airships, and the jumping puzzle can be on an airship. Also, the reward is fried chicken. And you get rewarded a mount at the end. So what about you?
What is the mount?
It's a pony that is pink and purple. Okay. And it has a rainbow on its butt. I think that's one of the ponies.
I'm really curious why you haven't been approached to be a designer at ArenaNet. Like, really?
I know, right? I know. Like, I was wondering, like, man, are they just gonna hire me at PAX, dude? Because I'm just so great.
You were just waiting for them to say it, and
Yeah.
you had your resume there. You were ready to go.
There was a bit of an awkward part when I was joking. We were at the MMORPG party, right? And I was there with John Sharpening and Ruby, right? One of the community managers.
Yep.
And I was like, there was a joke that came about of hiring me, right? And I was like, oh yeah, you can hire me to be one of those spokesperson, where I can sit in front of a camera and I can tell the news and stuff like that. And there's like a little bit of an awkward silence, like either like, no, that's never gonna happen, or we probably thought of it already, or something like that. Like it's between one or two. I'm gonna say that it was just an awkward silence. Like that's never gonna happen.
What if it was like they genuinely were thinking of doing that, and then you just started joking about it, and then they were like, "Ooh, okay, he clearly doesn't want to do this."
No, don't say that.
That's why it was an awkward silence.
Oh gosh. Let's answer the question. As I pout over here.
Okay, if ArenaNet asked me to create the next dungeon, what would I do? I mean, on the spot, it's very hard to come up with something like this. I would like to have... Well, my first thought is something that really plays with underwater mechanics in a nice way, but then I realised that, the Crucible of Eternity's got that cool, like, underwater tunnel system, where you're like in an aquarium, but you can look through the glass. Like, they've already done stuff like that, so maybe that wouldn't be too interesting. I couldn't come up with something like this on the spot, honestly. I'd have to think about it, because there's too many different areas that we could go in. So I'm going to cop out. I'm copping out. That's me.
I mean, based on the areas, I mean... I can totally see like maybe either taking to the skies or going like underwater, not for underwater combat, but like you were saying, like inside like some underwater dungeon ish type of thing going on, and you can actually see like the outside, and maybe like something breaks and then you have to kind of swim out, or there's some type of race thing. That would be pretty cool. Like I would like to see dungeons kind of break out of this whole like trash mobs boss. I want to see some action parts to the dungeon.
Yeah. Keep going. I've just had an amazing idea. I'll be back in 1 second. Keep going.
What? Okay. What just happened? Where were you? You're grabbing your notebook? It's like, I have these ideas.
What were you saying?
What's going on?
Okay, so in the books, the novels, there's a map of Tyria, which was our first ever glance of the world of Guild Wars 2. This was the first map we ever saw in Guild Wars 2. On said map, there are lots of dungeons marked off with squares, okay? So the Flame Citadel, for example, is there. The Ascalon Catacombs are there, and there's a little square every time a dungeon is mentioned. Ara is there, Sorrow's Embrace is there, the Crucible of Eternity. But then there are two more little squares on this map, this early map of the game long before it released, okay? There are two more squares. One of them is of the ruins of Den Ravi, okay, suggesting that perhaps this was once to be a dungeon in Guild Wars 2. And one is at Bloodstone Fen, again, suggesting that this could perhaps be a dungeon in Guild Wars 2. So maybe if I were to design a dungeon of some kind, I would pick one of those two locations. The ruins of Den Ravi, of course, you can actually visit in what's the name of it? Brisbane Wildlands. You can visit that area, but it's kind of rubbish. There's not too much to do there. There's some little hints at stuff. But, yeah, Bloodstone Fen we can't get anywhere near, though there is the keep in Brisbane Wildlands, sort of pointing off over there that you can break in, and there's an Asura gate there and a portal, suggesting that maybe, yeah, that would be a cool place to go for a dungeon, and that ArenaNet have actually got some stuff behind the scenes that is ready to go for dungeons set in those locations. That's my answer. You still there?
Yeah, I'm still.
You ran off to get your book. Oh, yes, well, I've got this other book.
Yeah. Next question.
Yeah. I'm really curious what you were saying while I was away, by the way.
Nothing important. Don't worry about it.
I will listen to it. I will find out. Emmy Chantel says, I love these long videos. I'm working on a necromancer costume for Halloween, and I've been bored out of my mind had I not started this. Sitting over a counter for 2 hours while fussing over an ancient sewing machine would have been so horrible had this not been up. Seriously, I want to hug the two of you. We hug you, but do you hug her back?
Oh, of course.
All right, we hug you back. Am I being sexist there? I assume it's a woman just because they were saying. Anyway, speaking of costumes, here's a question. What do you think, and the name is Emmy as well, what do you think of cosplay, and have you ever dressed up for an event? If not, would you ever?
I have not dressed up an event, and I really want to. I really do. I was thinking about dressing up as Master Chief, like buying. You ever looked at those suits and how expensive those things are? They're like $1,000 for a suit. Like if I ever have the disposable income for that, I would love to buy one of those suits and be there. And like my wife was like, "Oh, I could be Katana."
Well, first you're gonna put it up on SoundCloud, then you'll buy the suit.
Yeah. Right.
Being Cortana is easy. It's basically just wear skin tight clothes and paint yourself blue.
Yeah, no, I don't want her to be that. I'm sorry. Like, I'm one of those guys where I just like girls dressing up like that. I just know.
You don't like to see your wife walking around in front of other men in skin tight clothes?
Yes.
What kind of weirdo are you?
Yeah, well, obviously I am because that's apparently sexist. But I don't care if other girls can do it if they want. I'm not saying that. They can't do it, but my wife ain't doing it. I'm sorry. That's not happening. I don't need like the guys who oh my God, Katana. No, I'm straight. You can back away.
Maybe it can just be a thing for you after the
yeah, for me. Yeah, of course. That's behind closed doors.
Because
no
we've all
known
you want to do it while dressed in a Master Chief suit. Master Chief suit.
Oh yeah. Anyways, what about you? But yes, I would. The answer is yes. I definitely want to. There's a lot of stuff I would like to dress up. I just did it last night. All right, go ahead.
And yeah, I've never done it either, but it has always been something I've quite liked the idea of. Not like Master Chief or anything like that, just because you sort of see that a lot, I guess. But there's a lot of outfits and stuff I've come across in my time that I thought, that would be so cool to wear something like that just out to an event. Like Tidus from FF10 was probably the first one that ever really grabbed me. I was like, look at how weird his outfit is. That's such a cool outfit. I wonder if I could ever emulate an outfit like that. But I've never tried it, and I know how much effort goes into stuff like that. And I guess when you take the look of materials from an in-game world and try and translate them into a real-world property, a lot of the time, like, it's really hard to nail that. And the worst thing is seeing an outfit that looks like it's made of, some really heavy, thick material in a game, and then it comes out just looking horribly plasticky as someone wears it at a convention hall or something. I don't, that really ruins it for me. If I wanted to do an outfit like that, I'd want really fine, nice materials that really, translated whatever it was meant to look like in the game world, and this just makes things more and more expensive. Like, I don't claim to know much about the process, but I know that would just.
Have you seen some of those videos? I've watched a few videos.
Dragon Con.
Yeah,
you ever heard of that?
Yeah.
That's like that's the cosplay convention, yeah. Dragon Con.
I live right next to it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Like right next to it.
Wow,
right.
Dude.
Yeah, I'm in Atlanta, and like. Right in the middle of Midtown, so it's right at the Hilton, and it's spread across a bunch of them. But like, you go there and you see all sorts of people. I mean, there was this girl with like no top on, just walking.
So when's this event happen?
It already happened actually.
Oh.
It was right where PAX was. Same weekend where PAX was. Yeah. So if people had to pick one or the other,
that's some poor timing.
Yeah, it is some poor timing because those are like really big events. But I guess everyone on this side goes to the Dragon Con, even though Dragon Con is more for like board games and costumes and stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah.
I interrupted you.
What I was gonna say is that there's really cool materials that you can use, and they paint it very nice that it looks real. Like there was this Holly from I guess Polaris, you could say, but the game station, she has these videos where she made like a not Master Chief, I think it was Gears of War and Mass Effect, like a shepherd like thing and everything. It looks really real. But I mean, if you're using materials that are too heavy, you want metal, like full on metal, like in the game, that's not gonna work because you have to walk with that all day. So it's gonna suck. Yeah. But there's ways that you can make things like that are plastic will look very real. Like cosplay is really amazing. Like seeing all these cosplays, like, not the ones that you just put like tape on and I'm the Fifth Element. No, I'm talking about like some real, real cosplay here.
That'll probably be my first attempt.
Oh, so you would totally do that. So what size shirt would you wear if
like extra small? I'd be in a woman's 4 size.
So you're very thin, is what you're saying?
Yeah, definitely. And I'm only like 3 foot tall. The next question is from TJ Simdorn, who says, "Have you guys met IRL?"
Of course.
Yeah. Do you want to tell them the story?
What was that? You're about to go on a rant?
No. Do you want? Yeah, go on. Tell them how we
what
met.
happens? All right. So I was in the UK for to see my friend Kai Dream.
This is good. She lives in the same county as me.
Yeah, right. Yeah. We're good friends, and then we go there. So I said what's up to her, and then we were in a one of those underwear shops, right? One of those lingerie shops, right?
Okay,
she was shopping for her boyfriend in the Littlewood, right? And I heard this voice, and I was like, man, that sounds like wooden potatoes. And I saw this guy, right?
Working
and
behind the counter.
He was a very, very thin, long. He looks like kind of like the Slender Man, right? Looking guy. I was like, oh, what's up? Are you wooden potatoes? And he was like, no. And he was like trying to cover his face because he knew my voice and he knew how I looked like because I actually show my face in my videos. And I was like, oh, you wooden potatoes? Like, oh, what's up, man? And that's how we met. He was buying lingerie for himself, actually.
No, I was working there. But
no, he was buying.
Failed to he refuses it.
He was buying a couple bras for himself. Obviously, a little cross-dresser. I'm not judging. I am not judging.
This is why you put the cosplay question before this, because you could segue easily into that how I was buying bras for myself.
That's why. If Kai actually listens to this is gonna be really awkward. I don't know. I just picked that. She's like the only one that I can segue to lingerie to. So there you go.
It does work. I don't know if she lives anywhere near me anymore, but yeah. Is she into Guild Wars 2 still?
No.
Another one bites the dust.
Another one. We're the only ones left. Really, we are the only ones left. Other than some, we have some smaller YouTubers that smaller YouTubers. That's like very like stupid to say because I mean we're all small technically, but there's some other YouTubers out there that do some Guild Wars 2 stuff. Maybe not all the time.
There's some new faces on the scene too, which is always cool to see.
Yeah, it's always cool to see. Definitely. We actually watch a lot of your videos, by the way. Yeah, but seriously though, we didn't actually meet. No, we were about to meet at PAX, but he didn't want to go, so whatever. That's all good.
It was just, we've talked about the PAX story already.
I'm just gonna keep mentioning it. The next time we have an opportunity, you're definitely going. Even though I don't know if they're gonna have me again. You think Arena will fly us over again?
After
give us another opportunity?
So glaringly joked about their career opportunity for you. No, I don't think they're going to invite you back. How dare you?
Man. Oh, well, my wife has like a big job here, so I don't know how that would work. Like actually moving to Seattle. So I don't know.
Do you think that they kept telling you, oh yeah, you'll be able to play in the quarter thing for the live stream, and oh you're going to get a Mr. Spot, and none of it happened? Why do you think that that all fell apart?
Well, I think it was just bad organization on their part.
Don't discredit them. Don't discredit them. It's not that. It was a deliberate attempt to push you away.
I mean, I'm not Total Biscuit. Let's be honest. I'm not like a million subs. So I mean, They're not gonna be like, oh, dude, we have to get him up there. And like, no, they weren't concerned about me.
I just love how the one time we can see you in that live stream footage, you're just like stood there at the back of the wall, like rubbing your hands together like a vampire, just like head slightly bowed, looking forward, slight grin in your face, just like caressing your fingers. It's like, oh, there's Matt. Wow, and he's going to suck my blood.
Oh gosh, it's great. It's great. Was that the last question?
That was indeed the last question.
We had a short one.
No. All right, we missed one thing with the last question. You have to ring the last question bell.
Ding 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 ding.
There we go. Imagine that happened before we read the question. I remember that earlier, that we were meant to ring the question bell and then we never did.
I'll totally edit that in. Totally.
Yeah, it'll work. It'll be fine.
Hey, is that it? We're good? Anything else?
That's it. That is the VisualWood podcast.
If you want to leave any questions, put it down below, and we will read them and put them on the show. Are you still doing all
right for getting questions, by the way?
Yeah, it was decent. A little bit less this time around, but it's all good. It's all good. Okay. I mean, we don't want a 2-hour long show like last time, so we're actually gonna make it to an hour and 30. Look at that, guys. We're improving.
They won't consider this an improvement, though. This is like the end of the world. These people have 2-hour-long commutes, and now there's half an hour of nothing but silence and drudgery on the radio.
Yeah, listening to that new rap thing. Yeah, you ever heard that? Don't drop that dun-da-da. Don't drop that dun-da-da.
Oh, yeah. I saw a Pokemon video of that. Have you seen that Pokemon video?
I swear, no, I haven't. But, I mean, really, like, I feel that black people need to stop messing with this. Like, it's just, dude, come on. Like, they're giving us a bad name, okay? They're giving me a bad name. Like, we don't do that on a regular basis. People think that black people have their pants low constantly. We talk in Ebonics. We have gold teeth in our mouth constantly. And we're not enjoyable to be around.
Listen,
obviously.
I'm not going to allow you to hijack this podcast to espouse your racial agendas. No. I sent you a link of the Pokemon video of that song. It's 11 seconds long, and along with the other links, I would recommend people check them out.
Don't drop that. Don't. The song is no imagination whatsoever. No whatsoever. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a like, share with your friends, leave a comment, say what's up in the comment section below. And stay visual.
Bye.
And Ridlock has no pants. He has panties.